Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Those that follow me on Discord or Twitter or Weeble or moomoo, I wasn't pretty active yesterday. I wasn't active at all. My wife had to be taken to the emergency room, which meant no trading for me. I did speak about some trades yesterday morning. Luckily, she is back home. She suffers from something called small fiber neuropathy, which means she's basically in pain every day. It's just how bad the pain is. So, again, there are more important things in life than trading. With that said, you're here to trade. I'm here to trade. Yesterday, pre-market, I spoke about three different stocks I was looking to get into. Remember, the planning process is of the utmost importance. Yesterday, I was talking about Ford, but I was looking for Ford to maybe gap down to like 1178. Perfect time to enter. It went up to like 1190. However, Ford wasn't the trade because when the market pulled back, so did Ford. One stock that did not pull back yesterday that I spoke about was Pfizer, PFE. Those options returned like 80 something percent. Pfizer's actually green this morning when the rest of the market is red. No, I didn't enter that trade. Again, I had some family issues yesterday, so I'm on the sidelines. Better to be on the sidelines than watching your phone, worrying about your position, especially if I'm taking this small account of $500 and I plan on growing it to $2,500. So I've already decided on today's trade, and I'm going to speak to that in a minute. But why are futures down? Remember, futures closed yesterday. We went to bed. Everything was looking rosy. Middle of the night, what happened? China came out with numbers. China came out with their export numbers, which were down. Then you have Mersh. What are they called? MSK, RK, something like that. The huge shipping conglomerate, all those shipping containers that you always see, Maersk, right? Something like that it's called. Anyway, they revised their numbers. Now, understand they ship the most goods throughout the world. So you have China reporting disappointing numbers. Then you have this shipping conglomerate basically saying their estimates on shipping is going to be down. Instead of 2.5%, it's going to be down 4%. So you have the Chinese market, the Hang Seng, which was down over 2%, closed at 1.8% down. Some China industrials were down 2.2% overnight. Then what do you see that it's affecting the U.S. market this morning? The U.S. dollar. So if you're part of Discord, and I can show you real quick, let me just see if I can present it. Stop sharing. Let's share the screen so that everybody can see exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, these are pretty important things when you're analyzing the market. You've gotta. All right, let's see if it pops up here. All right, well, there it is, but it doesn't want to load. Okay, there it loaded. All right, so rather than going to the flow and algorithms, which I usually like to start off the day, I'm actually just going to go to my alerts, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at. The dollar, which is spiking up this morning. So we spoke about the problem in China, shipping, recession fears, industry worries. China is extremely struggling. Then you have the U.S. dollar spiking. Now, 102, and it was actually 101 and change at some point, 102 this morning. That means our markets can be bullish. That means futures can turn green. At 102.58, when I shot this picture, they were on the way up. I think they're closer to 102. Let's just give you the full rundown right now and get rid of my game that I was playing with backgammon. And, we got a lot of stocks to talk about today. So we're going to find a definitely good position. But here's the U.S. dollar right now, 102.75. So when I point out that I think the dollar is going up, which would cause the market to drop, and that's at 7:03 a.m., and we're an hour and a half later, and it's up another, 17 basis points. Understand the dollar's going to drop. How you guys don't give me thumbs up on these things? U.S. dollar still moving higher. The SPY was off 0.891%. Okay, so that's how we start out the day. And then what do we like to do? Again, if you're watching and you like what I do, please thumbs up. Everything YouTube does is analytics. If you like, share the video, tweet it, share it on Facebook. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. If you like it and you want to ask questions about your stocks or option positions, there's a question comment section right there. You can ask anything you'd like. I'm going to talk about a bunch of stocks because a bunch of stocks had earnings. All right. So anyway, I like to go on and check out the analytics of the market. That's how I start my day. And then I'm going to show you guys actually some charts, and we're going to look at a few different stocks. Okay. So yesterday I was trying to analyze stuff. Okay. Big flow, SQQQ, meaning tech going down. What are you seeing? A ton of calls, some at the bid, some at the ask. So it's a mixed market. Even though you're seeing call buying, okay, it's also call selling. So when you see something going at the bid, and just to recap for everybody, you're not watching with me, but when things happen at the bid, say I see a ton of call options happen and I see them happen at the bid, that means somebody's selling them, okay? They're selling them for the bid. If you're buying something, you're paying the ask. So if I'm buying calls, I want to see the ask get paid. So meaning when you're looking at huge trades on Discord, on the flows and algorithms, and I'll show you an example, you've got to look, are they buying or selling the calls and puts? You can't just say it's all in calls. That's bullish, because it can actually be bearish. I mean, this individual right here, Brandon, 10 p.m. yesterday, he's checking it out. So what do we see? We saw call, bid side, right? Call on the bid side, bearish, put, bid side, bullish, call, bid side, bearish, put, bid side, bearish, bullish. So again, a little confusing. Call sweeps coming in on the bid side, bearish, making me think it would go down. Puts on the ask side, bearish again. So again, when you're looking at the activity there, you can see it was bearish. Now again, things went down. So then he's looking at the flow sum. All right, the flow sum. You got to look at the buys versus sells. Sometimes it's all buys, and you're like, okay, well, they're buying all calls. Well, that's interesting. Sometimes they're selling. If they're selling you the calls, if they're selling you the calls, they know the stock's going to go down. I think I saw Oxy with something like that. Anyway, I'll check out what everybody else is checking out. I looked at a few things yesterday. There was someone looking at Oxy. Let me just see if I can find my searches. Here we go. I checked out Netflix because Netflix is one of the stronger Qs. You could look, the algorithm's still up here, price of stock still up here. Puts haven't gone that much higher, but I'd watch and I'd look for it about half an hour into the market. Now remember, now I was looking at, okay, so they're mostly buying, okay? So they're mostly buying, probably about 70%. And it's about split between calls and puts, but they're mostly buying. So I guess it's split, getting a lot of activity. I was looking at Twilio, same thing. Dark pool level for the SPY, we can check that out, because where is the SPY sitting right now? And we'll get to those charts I wanted to show you. So we're going to look at charts in a minute from TradingView. That's the free service I use. SPY sitting at 447.41. I wish I bought those SPY puts right before close. But the reason I didn't buy SPY puts before closes, the market was ripping higher on low volume. That's what I was sharing yesterday. Ripping higher, low volume. Makes me worried. But if the low volume and the ripping higher continues, where would we have been this morning? 452, something like that. Now, what happened overnight? Again, China export numbers. China off 1.88%, is worse, as bad as 2%. What does that make me to do? Well, I know China. China likes to manipulate. Alibaba has earnings on Thursday. I think they're going to announce a stock buyback. Their earnings are estimated at consensus just over $2, $2.02. Me, I think they're coming in around $2.25, $2.26, all the way to $2.32 in some numbers that I ran. Does that mean I'm going heavy? No, but I talk about my $500 account. So I've already determined, okay, not only does the market like to buy the dip, and I understand we got downgraded as an economy from AAA to AA plus, okay? The market said, we care, but we don't care that much. Wednesday, Friday, down, huge volume. Yesterday, bounce back. What's hurting the bounce back from yesterday? These shipping numbers and export numbers. So what could likely happen? Say the market fades most of today, and I want to get into Baba calls. Okay, end of the day, 355. Baba calls. Maybe I get in at $91.28. All right, let's say we get a bounce back. Market drops like we saw yesterday, right? Substantial drop to start the day. Maybe we test that 444 number. Because remember, yesterday morning, I was telling you, we still have that gap to fill at like 443, 442 on the SPY. In fact, let me show you what that looks like. So let's get rid of Discord right now. And again, I'll be posting my trades on Discord. I'm just focused on that $500 account. I really think I'm going to get into Alibaba options. I'm going to look to get in whenever I see it at the worst today. Knowing that if I got in yesterday, hypothetically, okay, if I got in yesterday, I would be worse off this morning. If it's 3% off, everybody that followed me in would be 3% off. That's why we show patience. I wasn't ready to trade yesterday. And if I did trade yesterday, it was going to be those Pfizer options. I just didn't want to put everybody into Pfizer at 10 in the morning when Pfizer was $35. But if you joined me yesterday, I mentioned pre-market and I brought up the chart. I said, look, my exit on Pfizer would be like $35.60, maybe $35.80. It went to $35.90. It went up 3% yesterday. The market was doing and playing games. Pfizer was up 3%. The market's down pre-market. And let me look at Pfizer this morning. Again, I don't have those options. I'm watching the US dollar pre-market. Pfizer's almost up 1% pre-market at $36. So how do we know about Pfizer? We showed that there were mostly calls. They were mostly being purchased. All right, with that said, let's bring up this other new chart. And here's what I'm looking at. Let's just go back to Alibaba so I can talk about that position and why I'm playing Alibaba. So I have the 1 hour chart open. So if we're looking at the 1 hour chart, we're going to 93.78. And again, there could be a drop at open, and it might drop down to 93, 92.89, something like that. So I'm not going in at open. If it spikes off open, so be it. I might not get into this trade. But what I'm looking at is we haven't seen the price as low as it is. And yes, China is struggling since the 24th and the huge volume spike. And before that, it was still a little higher off lighter volume. But you see July 24th, huge volume spike, huge follow up. Okay, we've got a spike here on July 28th. Again, it hasn't really consolidated until this level. You have 3 strong selling days. And again, the 3 strong selling days, you were touching just under 95, which is what I mentioned, 94.50 the other day. The fact that I'm going to get in at hopefully $93 flat or something like that. And yes, Alibaba could go down, but I'm counting on earnings beating. If earnings beat, and I'm looking for a pop of 7-8%, then I'm talking about 104, 105 as a potential number on that one. Okay, so what other stocks do we want to look at on my list? All right, so the same thing I could look at. I'm looking at UALs. UAL is showing some support, so any pullback, again, UAL. And I was a fan of UAL since I saw this huge purchasing in here up to $55. So at $55, remember they had earnings. They were buying into earnings. Of course, there's consolidation. But UAL finally looks to turn it around. I was a week early. When did I like UAL? I think I liked it maybe right around here, and it still dropped a little more than we got a spike up. So it was definitely a mix. But UAL seems to be bottoming. I've got Plug on here. Plug doesn't look pretty good, but Plug again has earnings. So I'm going to hold a couple of contracts into earnings. Starbucks had a great pop yesterday right before it closed. Literally made like 36% on options. I had just entered. I bought in. I sold. I only had 1 contract, but you plan ahead. Rivian's been pretty ugly. Volume's pretty ugly. If the market continues to drop, and you'll notice the Russell, Rivian can drop more. Now, again, I have the 1 hour chart, so we're going back a number of days. So you could say something like, okay, well, this is Rivian finding support. But if we go back to the 5-minute chart, again, selling was pretty ugly to start the day. So once you find the bottom usually is after a large volume. So if I'm watching Alibaba today, okay, I'm looking for huge red with finally a green turnaround telling me I can get involved in Alibaba, whatever it was. Yesterday, if it was 95.24, if it was 95.40 even, you can get in Alibaba and you'd be all the way 96.46. You're looking for a whole point. So again, if I get in at market open, holy shit, was I screwed yesterday. If I get in 5 or 10 minutes in, no, you've got to wait till the selling dissipates. If the market is down, and we're gapping down this morning, you're probably going to see, again, some flickering at the market open. But once that happens, you're going to see either more selling, but once you see the turnaround, or you'll see buying, and you're looking for that buying to give up so that you know the market's going to go back down. Again, ranges on the SPY. We can talk about the SPY real quick. Because tech's been really strong. So, I mean, what did they do yesterday morning? Oh, shit, they bought the market. What did they do to close yesterday? In fact, the last, 30 minutes of the day, they were buying the market. Let's see. Last huge volume, and that pushed it up. What were we at? 449.50, right? Came down a little, and then we spiked up a whole point right before close. So again, if I want to go out a little bit, not an hour chart, let's look at a 15-minute chart and give you guys more of a range. Say again, 448 is key. We already broke through 448. So I really want to see what happens at open. I expect at open, again, we're going to see some fighting. People are going to think buy that dip. They're going to be early. I do think the market is dropping further off those China numbers. I do think the market wants to be bought up. We've seen inflow for a number of days, but we need to make sure we see a reversal. Now, what could potentially happen? Let's remember the timetables that I like to speak about. At 10:15 or 10:09 or 10:12, you could see a reversal. Say the market's dropping and you're looking for the bottom, okay? It's dropping. It's 10:10. You see a reversal. Do not get fooled. Sometimes at 10:10, you'll see a double dip, which means from 10:10 to 10:15, the market looks like it's going to reverse, and then all of a sudden it throws up on itself. That's a prime time for those that are looking for puts on that reversal to get into puts. Wait for that next drop, which should happen within 5 or 10 minutes after that, okay? If you get fooled and you buy your calls on that first reversal, okay, and then it drops further, yes, at some point in the afternoon, you're going to be like, oh, I'm finally even. but it is so much better to wait for the bottom, wait for that double dip, wait for the reversal, find the stocks that you have strong inflow. Maybe it's PayPal, maybe it's Square after terrible earnings and a complete drop there. Maybe it's Coin. I don't know what your favorite stocks are. Again, I already spoke about what I'm looking at today and the fact that I haven't seen value there, and I believe they're going to beat on earnings. Let's see what we got here. Some comments. Thanks for all you do. 6 days of winning trades in a row on the spot. Yeah. So please follow the momentum. Use the market net flow. Okay. Those that don't understand what the net flow is, I'm going to explain it easy because it's basically a cheat sheet. Okay. You're on Discord or you're on somebody else's platform that gives you institutional feeds. Okay. That's what our Discord does. We take it from Tradie Ticks, but you're on that. And what do you like to do? Okay. You look right at the net flow. Shit, I can't use caps. It doesn't like when I like to use caps. Net flow of the market. That's it. Talking net flow of the market. You'll see what the market is doing. Now, this will give me yesterday's net flow. So yesterday's net flow, let's see. Here are puts, premiums, put premiums. As put premiums go up, the market likes to drop. So you're watching the red's going up. The market is dropping. The market is dropping. Then all of a sudden, they start buying calls. Call premiums start increasing. They start going to calls. What happens from 448.50? It goes up a full point, okay? What happens? It goes up another full point, okay? Puts start giving up. Puts start giving up. What happens? Market goes higher. So this is your cheat sheet. Now, I'm not telling you how the market is going to open up today. Hopefully, you guys can see this nice and big. But if we see something similar, you see puts rising, okay? You check out at 10:30 a.m., you see puts rising. You know the market's going to drop. If it's still wherever it is, right here, and their puts are rising, you know it's going to go down here. It might only be a point or half a point. You get in your SPY puts, you get out of your SPY puts. Okay, you see calls all of a sudden spike. In fact, I like to look for spikes like this. So you saw a spike like this here. You saw a spike like this here. You saw a spike down. I like to see it in the beginning of the day. So I'm looking for spikes. I don't care. Let the market play out. Remember yesterday? Okay, what happened? We saw that dip. Did calls or puts give up when we saw the dip? No. So that's telling you could buy the dip. If you want to look 20 minutes into the market and you see the lines here and nobody gave up, calls haven't given up, puts haven't given up, then you could buy the dip. When you see calls giving up right here or puts spiking right here, you know the market's going down lower, okay? When you see the calls finally spike, you know the market's going to come straight up. And it's not only just a ride like this. We know the buy the dip mentality. So there's more chance, 60% chance they're buying the dip every time than 40%. If you did that every day, just buy the dip mentality. I bought the dip. I bought the dip. You'd probably be more winning trader than you are. You'd probably be like a 75% winning trader. All right, so let's talk about a few stocks really quick. If you guys have any comments or questions. Okay, yeah, thought on Bitcoin. I answered somebody on the sidelines. I actually thoughts on shank the market. I mean stock market. Okay, so yeah, thoughts on Bitcoin. I happen to think crypto is going to run pretty soon. We know we have the halving of Bitcoin next year, which means you have to work twice as hard, put in 2 times as much energy to receive 1 Bitcoin. You're going to be getting half the value. But that's next August. That's a full year from now. And crypto will run leading into that as well. It's like, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. So as we lead in, you're probably looking for a 6-month time limit there. So maybe February of 2024. Now, I still think crypto, specifically Bitcoin, is going to run to 33,000, 34,000 sometime in the next month. And it might coincide with a market jump. So we still think the market's strong at some point in August. It might be August, 3rd week in August, something like that. I think the market's going to pull back. And I think at the same time the market's pulling back, we're going to see Bitcoin go up. Yep, 6 days of winning. That's cool. I must have said something funny. Okay. So I was funny for this dude. I appreciate that. And I am a real one. So if you like what I do, please thumbs up. Talk about a couple more stocks real quick. And they're just on my watch list. I'm not telling you to get involved. I already told you what my trade's going to be today. It's going to be Alibaba. I was looking at this week, which is 8.4. But let's say I'm wrong about the market and my entry point sucks. I know earnings are Thursday, but let's say earnings are good, but the market still sucks as a whole. Alibaba can still be held back. Let's say Alibaba kills it in earnings, market's still struggling. It's not going to go and off the charts. So again, I'm probably buying out till 8.11. I'm looking at the $99 calls and the $100 calls out till next week. I'm looking for a discount. So what? Alibaba's off 3% pre-market, which will equate to about 30%. If I'm looking at certain options, I'm going to look for a 40, 45% discount off the closing price yesterday. I'm going to do the math. I'm going to put in my order. If I get it, I'm going to be damn happy. And then I have more than enough time to be right. Okay, stocks that I mentioned yesterday and today. Upstart. Upstart, at $60, they're buying upstart puts. How do I know? Because Discord was telling me they were loading upstart puts. I looked, they were costing $6 a contract, $600 a contract. And I'm like, shit, that's really expensive. Upstart closed at $54 yesterday. It's opening today at $48, making those contracts at least worth $1,200. So if you see heavy flow come out, and again, you can look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA had some heavy flow yesterday. That's how we knew about Pfizer. Pfizer up. Ford, I don't want to be in. So what am I going to do on Ford? I'm actually going to delete that. Microcomputers. Remember, I showed you guys yesterday all-time high. It's probably going to go up yesterday. You could have bought. There were the two. What was it? The 250s? No, the 450s. No, the 420s. Right? Because my favorite number is 420. The 420 calls that went out like 2 weeks. Now this stock went up 15 points yesterday. That position went up 200%. 200%. Along the same lines, I saw some large put options coming in on this one. So again, this one's at an all-time high. SMCI. I saw some puts come across the board yesterday, so I'll be watching that. I have Nikola on here. Why? I almost entered Nikola calls yesterday. It was $2.19. It shot up to $2.40. Those calls went from $28 all the way up to like $40, $41. Understand, $13 over 28 is what, about 45% gain. So you can get 45% gain from like a meme stock. If you like AMC and you see AMC bottom today, you know that AMC has a ton of support. They just had earnings. I think they came out flat. Estimate was for a loss, so they came out flat. So I'm thinking AMC might have some oomph. I see someone mentioning Palantir, right? Palantir, here we go. They had earnings. The crazy shit is, as soon as they released their earnings, the stock dropped 10%. And then it rebounded, and it was up 3% after hours. And again, I posted a Palantir report on earnings. You'll have to read that. It's either in public chat on our Discord, and I also posted on Webull. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. I had some other comments. Okay, interesting. We'll talk about big tech. I'm sorry about Palantir. I can't mention that right now because I want to help you guys process the market. So big tech, Amazon, it's close to its 52-week high. Google, Meta, also really close. So understand, if the market is not going to get sick and throw up on itself, these three stocks will probably revisit their 52-week highs. Again, Meta, Google, Amazon. Again, Amazon was the other play, buying the dip on Amazon. Whereas Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla all fell. And I mentioned this to Discord yesterday. Tesla and Apple finally broke below its 50-day moving average yesterday. And if you look at it, it's Microsoft's 10% under its highs, Apple 10% from its highs, and Tesla is 16% from its highs. I've got a ton of BABA calls. Now, this is what I wanted to show you about entry point yesterday. So BABA, let me just see. So you see it went down as low as here. That's 2.25. Now I'm showing you 250. It closed yesterday at 280. So where would I feel comfortable? I'd feel comfortable at the lowest point. I like to put up these charts. Now, this is the same chart. The same option was going for $4.13 at this spike right here. Not even this spike here where it was like $6 and change. So $4.13. I'm trying to get in at the bottom. I may get a little down dip this morning. So again, when you're looking at various options to invest in, I want you to look at the chart as well. I want you to go out 5 days and determine the pattern and say, hey, can this pattern rebound? What does it look like, et cetera, et cetera. With that said, if you have any questions, please ask them on the side. We're going to end it right here. Join me tomorrow for another lesson. Head over to Discord if you'd like to join me. I'll be updating the market, talking about my position. Other than that, have a wonderful day. And remember, tell your ones you love, tell your family that you love them. That's it. See you guys later. Carlos.